Hello, this is BlueStar, Defender of Equestria, and this is my AfterThoughts review of Fluttershy Leads In. Let's just say, I do identify a little bit more with this episode, but that's only because I've developed a cold. But fortunately, the cold medicine is kind of keeping it at bay. I'm still not a fan of this episode. I mean, I think, Nerf Stranger X probably said it best, in that, yeah, like, this has some good Fluttershy moments in this episode, but it is not a good Fluttershy episode, though. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I think some people are all excited because, oh, Fluttershy is assertive and all that. Well, the thing is that she's been assertive in other episodes before, and at this point, honestly, I expect her to be assertive. I mean, I did like that she's like, for a moment there was almost like, uh-oh, she's gonna fold, she's gonna fail. But no, she's like, no, this won't work at all. That was pretty cool. But I like that because that shows it's a struggle. And of course, it is a struggle. It always has been and always will be. But that doesn't mean that you will not prevail. It means that you can prevail. Roar! And all that. So, but yeah, I mean, this episode was still kind of boring and dull, and it's still very unfocused. I think is its problem, is that I'm not. I think the primary lesson, I think, was that, you know, sometimes you gotta stick to your guns, so to speak. Yeah, because these experts are trying to basically do what they want to do or what they think is best. But no, Fluttershy knows what's best in this case. And I think that's I think this was actually a good lesson to do. It's, in some ways, that's kind of counter, sort of, to the show. Sort of. Yes and no. I mean, it's one of the things if there's no absolutes. Sometimes you gotta listen to other people's advice. Sometimes you gotta stick to your guns and do what you want to do. You know, but, yeah, there's no absolutes and all those things. But, yeah. But still, I do like this episode, because, yeah, because certainly in our culture, there's so many things trying to tell us what we should want or what we should think and stuff, I guess, sort of things, and that sometimes you gotta say, no, this is what I want to do, or I don't care if everybody likes that, I'm gonna do this instead. Yeah, I still find this episode kind of boring and dull, and it's, you know, it's still I think again, its biggest problem, it's not focused enough. Unfortunately, oh dear, it reminds me kind of like how I feel about For the Times They Are a Changeling, and that I definitely support what that episode was trying to do, but it really wasn't focused enough on the primary lesson, or it wasn't persuasive enough to basically really teach that lesson. It was really more about sentiment. That song, it was nice, but it's not really what I would call being persuasive. And I'm kind of emboldened by the fact that the guards also were like, during the song is like, oh, it's like, but then at the end they're like, grr. So they weren't convinced by the song, so, you know, and all that, so, and that's, I think, basically, in a way, is what this episode's about, is that it's a nice sentiment, but I must admit, I'm not even sure what this episode's trying to do. Even the episode title doesn't make any sense to me. It's like, Fluttershy leads in? Huh? What, I don't get it. I don't know what that means. Oh, but, and this whole thing with Fluttershy realizing her dream is like, this is, I think, one of the times we're gonna be like, what? This is like the first time we've heard about this dream. What? I mean, it almost makes it feel like it was too easy in some ways, in that it's like, oh, Fluttershy, we learn about her dream and realize it all within the same episode. That just felt too easy to me. It just, it doesn't really make that lesson at the end of, oh, it's like, you know, doing all this, you know, the work, you know, to make the dream happen will be all worthwhile in the end. It's like, it doesn't really feel like that pays off. It doesn't feel like it reinforces that lesson, because it's like that, it felt like that it just happened too easily. I don't know. It's another, and again, with like, For the Times They Are a Changeling, it's like that lesson seemed to come out of nowhere at the very end. It's just like, huh? It's like, what? What does that have to do with anything? It's like, I think overall, it's just, I think that's this episode's problem again, is it's just not focused enough. It's like, it doesn't, it's not too clear what the primary lesson is. And in a show like this, that's bad, you know? I think it was Dr. Wolf or somebody did a video on. It's like, why are morals in the show important? Because that's frankly what the show for the most part is trying to do. It's trying to teach lessons, and so if the lesson that they're trying to teach is not that clear, then that's not a good thing. I mean, I think there's probably a lot of what I would call sub-lessons, but there's not one big, obvious primary lesson, and that's, again, that's bad. So, yeah, But I do like elements of this episode. There were kind of funny things. I do feel for poor Dr. Fauna. Oh, it's like, I can't take this anymore. Ah! Oh no, I can't help but think it's like, I'm glad that it's that her office is only one story. I think it's like she might leap out of it. Oh, it's like, I can't take this any longer. It's like there's animals everywhere. Oh, I also feel for that poor giraffe. It's like, it's bad enough the poor giraffe has a cold, but the giraffe has to sit outside and just rest his or her head on the pillow, and oh, you know, it's like there's all this emphasis on the building and stuff, but there really wasn't anything to build. I mean, it's like, it's more like they're just clearing the place up, planting a few flowers, hanging a few things here, hanging a few things there, right? There wasn't what I would call, you know, any massive, what I would call construction. So I do feel for the poor builders, especially the construction guys. This doesn't look like any kind of structure that I know. Of course there's not, because there's no structure. There's like an interior designer. There's no interior to design, and it's like, Fluttershy doesn't even want cages. So again, and there's also the other thing of that, you know, it's like, these were absolutely the wrong people, the wrong ponies to hire. It's like Sasha Sean brought up an interesting point of like, well, it's about compromise and stuff, and sort of like reminds me of Suited for Success, where it's like, Rarity, you know, does exactly what the main six want, but ends in horrible disaster, you know, because they flat ignore everything that Rarity says, but she did exactly what the customer wanted, and it didn't work out. But here it was almost the opposite of that, where here it's like the builders basically ignore what the customer wants and do what they want, and that was bad, because yeah, it's like, yeah, I would definitely never hire these ponies, and I don't think the main six will either, because yeah, I mean, that's a pretty big problem. I mean, you know, as a computer programmer, I understand this conflict all too well. It's all about what the customer wants. It's not about what you want or how you think the system should be. If the customer wants it this way, you have to do it that way. And so I'm totally against these builders. And it's just like, yeah, so, I mean, that was just hard. I mean, that was, again, this is almost in a way, a rare thing. This episode was always, you know, has a total disaster. But it's not Fluttershy's or the main six's fault. You know, they thought these ponies were going to be helpful, but they weren't, because they had the wrong skills, and they just flat ignored what Fluttershy wanted to do. It's not their fault. So, okay. It's like, I'm definitely not being focused in this video, and I'm losing it, and I don't want this video to be really long and stuff, so I think I'm gonna try to end it here. So overall, this episode was okay, not great, but I definitely don't like it. I mean, there were definitely some good Fluttershy moments in here that really confirmed that Fluttershy has grown, that she's no longer shy and stuff, but overall, this episode's really not that good. I mean, there are definitely much better Fluttershy episodes out there, and but the good news is, we did, you know, Ponyville does have a new animal sanctuary, and hopefully poor Dr. Fauna will hopefully get a break. It sounds like she needs it. Oh dear, oh dear. And Fluttershy realized her dream. Yay, that's good. It's a beautiful thing. Yeah, so overall, episode was not great, but yeah, I'm gonna say it was not great. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed this video, and as always, thank you for commenting, liking, and subscribing, and until next time, this is Blue Star. Stay strong, and pony on. Blue Star out.